San Juan coal plant. How did it, I read online that it was shut down in phases. Is that correct?
Yeah. So they've been demolishing after they shut down. And it's interesting because, they've been demolishing certain parts of the plant, like grinding up everything, putting it into trucks and hauling it out. So like through Shiprock, you see these certain types of trucks loaded with like grounded up cement, the whole plant being taken out in pieces.
Once these are shut down, they're starting to bring out which states were relied most off of. And most of these plants all over the Navajo Nation all go towards California. And when I grew up, Shiprock in the 80s used to get about 12 inches of snow on a regular course. And never had dark clouds above year round. So now if you do that now, probably even 5 years ago too, you can go about 20 miles outside of Shiprock, you'll see this dark black cloud looming over. It's mostly a farm community, which is what I grew up on. And you have San Juan River going through that area as well too. And of course, you can also read about the gold mine spill that happened almost 10 years ago. But now these coal plants are finally being shut down, which is, never thought I'd see that in my lifetime, but very happy to see that. I'm curious of how the environment's going to change now. How much of a less of a greenhouse effect that we're going to get off of this as well. So we have San Juan going down, and then there's La Plata plant that's still up and going, correct?
Yeah. And then we have Four Corners power plant still. Yeah.
Or was that was Four Corners, right?
Four Corners. Well, there's P&M, which is on this side of the Highway 160. That's the one that's being demolished now, and that's where the stacks came down. And then on the other side of the road, on Highway 160 to the south, that one's Four Corners power plant. So P&M, San Juan Generating over here to the north, Four Corners power plant kind of to the
And then the P&M one's right by Sweet Meat, right?
Yeah, that's P&M San Juan Generating Station. Yeah.
Okay, I never knew the names of P&M.
Oh, yeah, P&M.
When I read the article, I know P&M was correct.
Yeah, San Juan Generating Station is what they should call it.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's part of P&M, yeah.
Okay. And so with that, what are your feelings about it?
So that day, I went there that morning of the demolition, and I captured it on our I went Facebook Live from our Nizhoni Ani Facebook site. You can see that video on our website. It was really a historic day. It was what we call the end of an era, which is the fossil fuel era, and which we're hoping that will come to an end. We need to, I don't know if your viewers, how much they know about this whole, climate change and everything, but, the fossil fuels are like oil, gas, coal, uranium, anything that's a fossil that's extracted and used for burned and used for energy creates carbon for our atmosphere. There's so much carbon in our atmosphere, it's creating a greenhouse effect. So in Navajo, I usually say, we're in a greenhouse. And all this heat that's coming in is not going back out because of all the carbon that's in our atmosphere that's keeping it in our earth. And that's why when you drive along the highway, you see signs that are burned up because it's so extreme, the heat is extreme today versus when we were growing up.
And there's also signs on the side of the road for uranium clinics.
Yeah.
Which is, my wife, ironically, comes from California. And she's never seen that. She's never seen signage in her entire life for uranium.
Oh, wow.
Until she came on the reservation, and she's like, whoa, why is this still up? Like, I don't think anybody else is experiencing this. And then, so anywho.
Yeah, so our reservations is a sacrifice zone for the fossil fuel industry for 100 years now, more than 100 years now. So they've extracted coal, uranium, oil, gas, all of these things. And so it creates so much carbon for our atmosphere that we're in a greenhouse, essentially. The heat is rising. And so we need to move to fossil-free energies now, which is like wind, solar, geothermal where it's feasible, hydropower where it's feasible. On our reservation, hydropower doesn't work because we don't have the water to sustain a project like that.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have it.
Yeah. So, but we need to move towards more cleaner, renewable, sustainable, fossil-free energies, and that's what we're promoting. So all of these, that's the reason why you're seeing coal-fired power plants go down, like the P&M San Juan Generating Station. And I did an interview with KOAT that day, and I told them, I said, it's an end of an era. It's a bittersweet occasion because, bitter because we lost all of the economic development that we derived from that for years, all the jobs, all the economic development that spurred from that. However, it's also a sweet moment because we get to now transition from a fossil fuel industry to now a carbon-free, cleaner, renewable, sustainable energy future for our children, our grandchildren. That's what I think about. That's what I fight for. And so we need to keep doing things like that. We need to keep transitioning. They call it a just and equitable transition. That's what it needs to be. There's false solutions like hydrogen. That is what we call a false solution because we don't see it, and environmental scientists don't see it as a solution for climate change. Although they're saying, okay, we're going to use carbon capture sequestration, meaning we're going to take all that carbon out of the atmosphere and we're going to bury it underground. And so that's another proposal that's going on right now in our Four Corners area. They want to do that at the site of Four Corners Power Plant. They want to build a carbon capture sequestration site there where they want to take the carbon from the air, bury it underground. Well, then you're facing more contamination to our groundwater, possibility of it coming up out of the ground and creating more havoc for our environment. So we're saying, no, those are not solutions for climate change because the scientists are saying it's not going to help. It's not going to be a game changer for climate change.
Yeah.
It'll only help so much percent, but we need to look at the bigger picture and do better things like solar, wind, and just move to cleaner energies. Yeah. There's other ways we can clean our environment, and so we need to be seeking out all of those alternatives.
So even with that, I've been seeing more solar panel farms everywhere. Mm-hmm. Literally everywhere, and most of the locals I talk to about that, California, you're in the mix again. A lot of that energy is going to California. Mm-hmm. What's do you know any relationship between California and the Navajo Nation by any chance?
Well, there's that whole, carbon credits.
Okay, well,
I'm still learning about that too, but I understand the Navajo Nation sold a lot of their carbon credits to California, thinking it's just going to be, all they're thinking was as a revenue,
Yeah.
They just wanted the revenue from that, but they don't understand that we're selling our clean energy future or what could have been clean energy to California. And so it just allows California to continue to pollute. And meanwhile, we're going to be restricted. I think our leaders need to be more educated about it and before they start selling off all our carbon credits. That's all I'm going to say about that. But what I wanted to go back to was hydrogen. And I forgot to say that these companies, okay, so Greenview and Tallgrass has been around for a bit, but Greenview is basically a brand new company. And they want to build this 200 plus mile long hydrogen pipeline, which is highly explosive, through our reservation. We bear all the dangerous impacts. They get all the benefits in terms of profits. And they've never built a hydrogen pipeline. This will be their first, and this 200-mile pipeline is going to be one of the longest, if not the longest, pipeline ever built anywhere in the United States.
Wow.
So not only have they not built a hydrogen pipeline,
Yeah.
this will be the longest also. Yeah, so they're ill-equipped. They're just, they're touting a lot of things that they really, I think, just are not knowledgeable in themselves. Hydrogen is actually a newer technology, especially with the carbon capture sequestration, which is blue, so hydrogen, they term them with different colors. So the color that they're wanting to do is blue hydrogen, and that is made with, with natural gas as the feedstock, meaning that's the fuel they're going to use.
Yeah.
So burning more fossil fuels to produce a clean energy, supposedly.
Yeah.
So it's just, just doesn't make sense. So it's just it's actually, the whole hydrogen industry is being backed and pushed by oil and gas in Washington. So they have their lobbyists in Washington, the oil and gas industry, and they're the ones pushing hydrogen because they know that they can burn more. It'll create a market for their natural gas industry, which is becoming, obsolete. So they're wanting to create a market for their natural gas to perpetuate their industry.
Wow.
Because they're becoming a dying industry now with the push for clean, green energy. There's a lot of greenwashing going on. They're calling blue hydrogen clean, green, when it's really not. They're going to create more carbon in our atmosphere.
Yep.
They're touting, we can capture 90+%, 95+% of the carbon that we're going to create by using carbon capture sequestration. Well, the scientists have done their homework and done their research studies of blue hydrogen, and they've said, no, the most we were able to capture under the best conditions is about 65%. And that rate exceeds what the Department of Energy terms clean and green.
Wow.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds like lobbying talk there.
Oh, yeah.
So
I just want to encourage people to spread the word about, this whole blue hydrogen pipeline through our reservation, that it tell your relatives, if you're on the reservation, educate your relatives, especially those who, can't get to the chapter house, or, we just need to vote against it. It's not good. It's not good for our communities. It's not an answer for climate change. It's just there's too many unanswered questions. And so it's not a solution for us or for climate change. So we're encouraging people to be educated about it, so that, and right now the push is to educate our leaders as well. We've been trying to ask for an RDC meeting to do a presentation to the RDC since last year. They've let Greenview and Tallgrass do presentations to them, but they weren't allowing us, and we kept pushing, and finally, really it was Ricky Nez who was pushing this and saying, finally he allowed us to do a presentation a couple months ago. We did that, but we just need to keep up the pressure on them. Ricky Nez has said he's the one that's going to support the legislation, that he's going to be the sponsor of this hydrogen legislation to our council, and we're expecting him to do that for the fall session, which will come up, I believe, in October. And so that's just next month. So he's wanting to introduce this legislation to council. We're trying to educate as many of our council people as possible, because they're going to be the decision makers to either approve this or oppose it. And so we're trying to educate as many people as we can, especially our leaders, that this is not good for our people, it's not good for our communities, and it just needs to be opposed. So I just want to leave everyone with that.
Great. I know it's an early day. I lucky enough to actually make this call last night. We made it happen this morning.
Right. Yeah.
It's a very heavy topic, everybody, because it's another uranium situation, another coal situation. Now we have another clean energy situation we're dealing with now too. And we'll do our best, and we'll continue to spread the word. And we'll definitely, if you can keep us in the loop, if you know anybody else who can really help us. Share the word on this, and especially it's going to be affecting my community as well too. I'm sure many other communities that you all know somebody or from, and spread awareness. That's the best way. Like Eleanor said, is that they put pressure and made enough public awareness that they finally overruled a lot of this fight for dirty energy and now possible dangerous energy going through the area. So really appreciate your time. I know it's a busy weekend, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Keep in touch. Keep on spreading good word. Really appreciate you all.